Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you've all had a good week. I've got an absolute shed load to get through today. If I can bring this in under an hour, it'll be an absolute miracle. We'll give it a go. First of all, I popped a post on last night, which I'm going to come back to next week. It was to do with Jaws and a possible remake. Yeah, I know. I put the post on and I've had a couple of replies to it already. I didn't put it on till quite late, so I want to give that one chance to sort of seep in and see what other comments I get. I think it's fair to say that the ones I've had so far are not what you would class as positive. I don't think there is an actual remake in the works, but I get the feeling that somebody, presumably the person that put this or this company that put this post on, has got it in their head that it might be a good idea. yeah, yeah, we'll see. I'll be reading out your thoughts on that one next week and probably adding mine to it as well. But I think you pretty much know what my thoughts are going to be on that. But I get the feeling I've probably opened up a bit of a hornet's nest with that one. But we'll see what comes back. So I'll start with comments. And I'll start with Callie. Callie sent a comment on last week's video, or was it the week before? I kind of lose track because this is all sort of time sensitive, isn't it? And she didn't quite get a comment in on time, so as usual, I've sort of transferred it over to this week. So if any of this is sort of that you can't remember, do forgive me. Let's see, Callie. Sunday morning Tony time for me this week, which is why she didn't get it in on time, obviously, because she was. I think she got a daughter with her for the weekend, so she didn't get a chance to watch the video until Sunday morning, which is obviously when I was recording. Let's see. On what Scott Anders was saying, I agree on all points. This is Scott and his famous Sweary Mary rant a couple of weeks ago about all things bad about social media and YouTube and followers and all that sort of thing. Let's see, Dawn of the Dead, excuse me, is one of my favourite films of all time. Can't argue with that. When someone that doesn't make comments criticises my viz, I just say, well, if it's so easy, why don't you do it? Putting yourself out there on a global platform is brave as fuck, in my opinion. A global platform, I never even thought of it like that. It is as well, isn't it? You know what I mean? Anybody in the entire world can watch these things. But you're absolutely right. As I said last week, it's a really, really difficult thing to do. And it's not just sitting in front of the camera talking to people, which I'm sure people think is easy, but it really isn't. It's all the planning that goes into it. More so for you, Callie and Guy, because obviously you've got research to do on the subjects that you cover, and so you've got a lot of planning to do, which is obviously why you take breaks in between seasons. With me, it's just copy and paste a load of comments and just sort of make what I will of it. But it really isn't as easy as people think it is, and I'm fairly sure that everybody within the group sort of recognises that. Let's see, buying an audience, in my opinion, is a shortcut. The people that subscribe that way don't even watch your content. Someone that myself and Guy previously worked with on YouTube paid for subs, got over 1,000 subs, and their vids get like 3 or 4 views. So then he pays for views. Like I said, what's the point? What is the point? If they're not actually watching your content, there's no point in them being there, apart from making money from it, which you can do when you get a certain number of subs. But I think it's like 5,000 or something like that before you can even entertain making money out of it. But as Callie and Guy and Scott and Sam and sort of Gareth and Rick and all them will tell you, we don't do it for money. We do it because we enjoy doing it. We love talking about films. So no, I don't see the point of it. It really is, as I said last week, nothing to be proud of, and it really isn't. Scott, I've been told my taste in films is crap. My best response is, yeah, so is your taste in men or women, but you don't hear me complaining about it too. It's true. Oh, God. Nobody's taste in films is crap. Probably apart from mine. Killer spider movies and killer kangaroos. I'm coming on to that later on. You know what? Everybody's got their own taste in films. You know, what one person will consider a masterpiece, another one will say is absolute crap, which I'm also coming on to later on. So no, I definitely don't take any notice of anybody that tells me my taste in movies is crap. I already know that. So thank you for the shout out as always, son, and yes, you will be invited back, honey. I look forward to that, really do. I get the feeling it might be something to do with a certain television series from the 60s created by Mr. Gene Roddenberry. I believe we were talking about this not too long back. Um, Screw the gym. I walk everywhere if I can. I walk up and down that massive hill pretty much every day. Getting out in the fresh air and sunshine for a walk is better than being stuck in a hot gym with sweaty people. No thanks. I joined a gym years ago. Um, I left it probably a couple of months after joining it. The only part I think I really enjoyed was the swim, because they've got a swimming pool. It was the one near Cineworld, I think. Um, the actual workouts were all right, but I couldn't be doing with all these muscle Marys in there that were just standing in front of these full length mirrors doing this. And I actually saw one kissing his muscle. What the fuck, seriously? And as soon as I saw that, I thought, what the hell are you doing here? And that was it. I think that was the last time I went. And as I say, the only thing I miss is the swim. But you're absolutely right. The best exercise I found, and I did do it for a few weeks, and I've got to get back into it, and I'm hoping to get back into it today, when I finish this, is walking. Just go for a 30-minute walk every day. As you say, you trudge up and down that hill every day. It's enough. I mean, strictly speaking, I'm in a fairly physical job. As you all know, I'm a cleaner, a warehouse cleaner, clean facilities, toilets, that sort of thing. Um, I'm up and down the warehouse all day, every day. I clock up something like 18, 19,000 steps a day. And I always remember mentioning this to the doctor when he had me in for some kind of a review. I'm coming off subject here, do forgive me. And he said to me, he sort of questioned me diet. And then he asked me what exercise I get. And I said, well, I don't do anything outside of work. And he says, well, what do you do? And I told him. And I told him how many steps I did a day. And he said, that doesn't count. Why doesn't it count? I'm literally on my feet all day apart from, half an hour's break. And he says, it doesn't count. It's got to be 30 minutes constant. Right, okay. And I happened to mention this to somebody who used to work at the hospital a few weeks later. And he said, that is absolute bollocks. What bloody hell is he doing telling you that? He says, of course it counts. If you're moving, you're exercising, no matter what you're doing. So he says, take no notice. But I will get back into the walking as of today, I think. I used to just put a little podcast on, normally Real Britannia, and the 30 minutes just flew by. And I was actually losing weight when I did it. I was losing it at the rate of about £1 a week, so I do need to get back onto that. And you put at the end, Callie, at the halfway point now, so I'll finish off the rest later. Another cracking episode so far, honey. So that was pretty much the end of that, but you made up for it with the comment that you posted yesterday, which was absolutely epic. Let's see, let's start on today's comments. Rick, old AF, morning Rick. It was a pleasure shouting you out, mate, and even more of a pleasure having a chinwag with you about mind states. Yeah, I was basically saying that I'd had a bit of a chat with Rick online last week about being nervous about, what you're saying on video and this, that and the other. It was just, it was interesting, and he helped me a lot. And he also shouted out to me from a screening of One Night Rental at the Straight to 80s video shop in Alfredton. So a Serbian film was a rough watch, that's for sure. Not one I'd be in a hurry to see again. Stay safe, mate. Cheers, Rick. A Serbian film. Horrible. Vile. I've only seen it once. I can barely remember it, and I'm really happy about that. Obviously, I remember the notorious scene. As I've always said, there are scenes that you see that you can't unsee. And I'm now sort of in a mindset that I don't particularly want to watch things that are going to be unnecessarily violent or gross or vile. I'm just not. I can't see the point in putting myself through it. I just can't. So You won't hear me talking about things, obviously, like human centipedes. Never going to happen in a million years. It's a pointless exercise. Um, I don't know anything about it apart from the basic plot, and it sounds horrible, so I'm not going to watch it. And a lot of other films. I've been listening to a podcast this week about the video nasties. Very, very interesting. And I'm going to do a short article, well, a short chat about it on a future video when I've got through them all. But they are case in point. Some of those films, I would say the majority of them are absolute, complete, and utter crap, total tripe. There's the odd one that got caught up in the crossfire that didn't deserve to be on the list, and I'm sort of slowly realising that, listening to this list being read out by this guy who's chatting about every single title for 10-15 minutes. It's just really, really interesting. I will be coming back onto that. But the video nasty is a case in point. I have no desire to watch something that is just horrible. But saying that, I'm fairly sure that a lot of them will not be as horrifying as they probably seemed, 40 plus years ago. It's a long time ago when all that was going off. But I'll come back onto that. But a Serbian film, no thanks, never again. Loved your Alien Romulus review, by the way. That's something I've meant to do for ages, is do some kind of a review from a cinema, but as soon as I don't actually go to the cinema anymore, it's going to be a difficult thing to do. And that face hugger popcorn holder, my God, yes, I would pay £30 for that. I would probably think, God, that's expensive, but I wouldn't be fussed by the time I got it in my hot little hands. It looked amazing. And I was saying that, it will probably be very collectible in a few years. And you replied to that, collectible in a few years. They're fetching £100 on eBay now. My God, they've only been available for a couple of days. In a few years, there may be even more. Investment well spent. It's definitely worth a watch. It's like Alien and Aliens mixed into one movie. Loved it. It was a hell of a lot of fun. Stay safe, mate. Will do. I can't wait to see Alien Romulus. It looks absolutely brilliant, and we're in the hands of Fede Alvarez, who did, is it Fede Alvarez? Sure, that's right. Who obviously directed the remake of The Evil Dead in 2013. So we know we're in good hands with something like that. But the initial reviews, and I've only read 3 or 4, are all positive, including yours. They are basically saying that it's a lot better than they thought it was going to be. I'm going to be looking at a lot more reviews of that throughout this week, and I'll come back on this one next weekend. But I definitely want to see it. It probably won't be a cinema visit, almost certainly not. But if it turns up on Disney Plus, which is a Fox movie, so it should. If it turns up on Disney Plus, I will be watching that the very night it drops. I'm fairly certain of it, or definitely the weekend following. So yeah, thanks for that, Rick. Much appreciated, mate. Always great to hear from you. David Mansell, morning, Dave. Great video as always. Cheers, Dave. Much appreciated. Matthew Binney, we haven't heard from Matthew for a bit. Morning, Matthew. Interesting talk. Need to catch up on more of your videos. Thanks, mate. Much appreciated. I need to catch up on everybody's videos. I've got to get my viewing in some kind of order, including the YouTube videos. I did watch one of Sam's yesterday. He made some purchases from a company called Signal One, who are having got a sort of an offer on at the moment, like a sale. So I'll be coming on to that one later on. But I need to catch up on everybody's videos, especially JK, our Ginger Ninja. I've got loads of yours to catch up on, mate. Loads of them, and I need to. I really do, and I want to. So thanks for that, Matthew. Much appreciated, mate. Jason K. Ginger Ninja, morning, Jay. Those 80s movies, Buckaroo Banzai, love that movie. The Wraith, Black Moon Rising, classics, and that's just scratching the surface. They were probably the 3 or 4 that I could remember off the top of my head. If I sat here for 10 minutes and wrote them down, there were so many, and I do need to look at sort of VHS sleeves from the early to mid 80s just to see whether there are as many as I think there are that I've missed out on. There was a book that Scott showed off that I meant to get and I didn't, and that was to do with VHS sleeves, and it looked an awesome little book. I'm going to have to look it up and see if I can get a copy of that. That might sort of point me in the right direction. But I do want to catch up on these movies. I need to start a proper thread of it. I've got so many threads to get into. I need to get it organised. Oh, and in case you haven't seen, or maybe I missed it, congrats on 150 subscribers. I'd not even noticed, Jay. Not noticed, mate. I do occasionally look at the subscribers, but I've got my dedicated audience, and that is really, as I've said before, all I need. I'm certainly not bothered about paying subs and views and stuff like that. Screw that for a game. No, I'd rather have my regular audience who watch my videos every week, chat about them, give me loads to talk about the following week. And you haven't disappointed me this week, guys, by the way. You really haven't. So 150 subscribers, that's brilliant. That is absolutely amazing. I look forward to getting 200, but take your time, folks. I'm not fussed. Good to hear from you, Jay. Good to hear from you. Steve Mack, our Criterion guy. Morning, Steve. 80s abandoned VHS. Here we go. The morning after. I think I saw this a long time ago. This is Jane Fonda. And is it all to do with a murder? She's an alcoholic or something like that. It's one that I would love to see again. I've not seen it on DVD or Blu-ray. Brainstorm, saw that one a long time back. Brilliant movie. Christopher Walken, absolutely superb. Valley Girl, heard of it but never seen it. Three Fugitives. I can't remember this one. Is this Martin Short? Nick Nolte? Distant memory. Don't think I've ever seen it, but I do remember the trailer with Martin Short's hair. I do remember that. Can't Stop the Music, classic, absolute classic, and I've still not ordered that yet, but I will be doing. Hopscotch, never seen it. This is, I believe this is a Neil Simon comedy. I really should research these things before I come on. I'm sure it's a Neil Simon comedy, and I'm fairly sure this is Glenda Jackson and Walter Matthau. And I do believe I listened to a short podcast about this a few months ago. And I did mean to take it in, but I didn't get the chance. Jagged Edge, saw it a long time ago. Brutal. Glenn Close. Daryl. Wasn't this from the makers of War Games, or similar to War Games? Didn't it star the kid from Neverending Story? Doesn't he play like a military android or something like that? The military after getting him back because he's escaped from this scientific facility. I'm fairly sure I'm thinking of the right one. Baby Boom, Diane Keaton, I think. Saw it a long time ago. Good fun comedy. Broadway Danny Rose, Woody Allen. I love anything Woody Allen, but I've not seen that one. Zelig. I've not seen that one, but I've heard great things about it. That's Woody Allen again. The Fourth Protocol, Michael Caine. Yeah, some great titles there. I'm going to be making a note of those and adding them to the humongous watch list that I've got. You put these titles, they used to always be on the video shelf when I went in and never got taken. Yeah, I wouldn't say I can see why, but when they were fighting against titles like Hellraiser, Predator, Princess Bride, all these titles that were absolutely massive in the day, these would have sort of faded into obscurity. But now, as I said last week, these are the kind of films that I now want to watch, and I'm more sort of interested in these than I am in the new movies. So thanks for that, Steve. Much appreciated, mate. Always great to hear from you. Stuart George, morning, Stu. We were talking about ABBA, and I was basically saying, is it just ABBA that you hate, or is it the movie? Which one was it you were talking about? Not Muriel's Wedding. Mamma Mia. Heaven help us. I love ABBA, mate, and I love musicals, but Mamma Mia butchered both. Indeed. The SAS use it to force information out of people in interrogations. Pure torture. I wouldn't go that fucking far. I get the feeling you're not keen on Mamma Mia, so we'll kind of leave it at that, I think. I wasn't overly keen, like I said. I think it was because it wasn't actually ABBA singing them. It was cast members. And that kind of thing never really goes down well with me. So that's probably the only reason I didn't like it. The cast was superb. I've not seen Mamma Mia 2. I've not seen fit to put myself through that one yet, but I have got it on Blu-ray. Um, I thought, seeing as I've got the original, because Rob likes it, I might as well get the second one as Cher is in it. But I've not really felt the need to watch it as yet. So thanks for that, Stu. Great to hear from you, Dave Taylor. Morning, Dave. Hi, Tony, and fellow members. Another great vid. Cheers, mate. We always have plenty of interesting material for Tony to discuss. It is a great group for sure. Thanks, Dave. We're very proud of it. And everybody that's in it should be very proud of it because it's you guys that keep it going. Um, you guys are the heart of it. You really, really are. Without you, this wouldn't be anything. It wouldn't even exist. So, yeah, I agree with you, Dave. We've got a brilliant group here. The other week, Tony mentioned. Oh, frog in my throat this morning. The other week, Tony mentioned Be Kind, Rewind, but said he didn't remember the plot. I've since watched the trailer. Two guys have a video shop that isn't doing too well. There is some disaster which causes them to have to reshoot the whole stock of tapes as they reshoot them themselves on a shoestring budget. The fun starts. Yeah, basically, what they do is accidentally erase the whole stock in the video shop, and they begin to remake the titles in their own style and put them back in the boxes and rent them out. I watched the trailer. This looks utterly charming. I can't believe this one's flown under my radar, to the fact that I have actually ordered a copy on Blu-ray from Music Magpie, I think, for about £3. And I'm really looking forward to watching that. I'd heard of it, but knew nothing about it. And as soon as I watched that trailer last night, I thought, I need to see this. This is a movie that's like, what, best part of 20 years old? So, looking forward to watching that one. Let's see, what's it about? Just bear with me, because I lost my place. Movies people love, but I hate. There are a few franchises I don't think much of. Lord of the Rings, only seen the first three. You're lucky I've only seen the first one. I've got a big box set upstairs that I was bought for Christmas probably 2 years ago, of not only the Lord of the Rings trilogy, but the Hobbit trilogy as well. I saw the first one at the cinema when it first came out, so it would have been about, what, 22, 23 years ago. I've never seen the rest of them. I do need to get into them, but they're long films. And like I said before, I've got to dedicate sort of 3 hours, 4 hours in the case of the Lord of the Rings extended versions, to watch one title. So I will get round to them. Where are we? These type of movies obviously look better on the big screen, which they do. Obviously, they're going to look better on the biggest screen possible. Fast and Furious. Never been a fan of car movies. Again, I watched the first one because everybody was telling me how brilliant it was, and I thought, yeah, it's not too bad. Bought the box set. I think it was 1 to 6. This was before 7, 8, 9, and 10 came out. So I will end up watching them at some point, but I get the feeling that once I've watched them, they will be heading straight to the RSPCA shop. I'm fairly sure of it. I wouldn't say I don't like car movies. I do love a good road movie. Some of my favourites: Dirty Mary, Crazy Larry, Duel, Vanishing Point, Cannonball Run, anything like that. I love a good road movie. Convoy, absolutely superb. Let's see. Having said that, I very much like Rush. Rush was brilliant, absolutely superb. As it is set in the 1970s, the movie is as much about. Oh, here we go. Oh, sorry. I've erased part of the comment. The movie is as much about the rivalry between the two drivers, James Hunt and Niki Lauda, as it is about Formula One. And it is, and they both play the roles brilliantly. I was actually at the 1976 Grand Prix at Silverstone, which is when a lot of this took place. So obviously I was very interested to watch that. My dad, if it had still been alive, would have absolutely adored that film. He would have loved it. He worshipped Formula One. It was forever taking us to places like Mallory Park, Alton Park, Silverstone, for various sort of race meetings. And we were at the 1976 Grand Prix. I get the feeling it was nowhere near as expensive as it is now to get into something like that. But it's a memory I can treasure forever, that one. So yes, I enjoyed Rush as well. Mamma Mia, not really for me, but I like ABBA songs. Yeah, I think that's the general consensus on that one. Dave, thanks for that, mate. Much appreciated. Where are we? 25 minutes. Why get another one in? Mark, morning, Mark. Yes, those are movies that I hate. Yeah, I couldn't remember whether I got it sort of the right way round. It's sort of a double barrel question, and I always get it cocked up. What I was asking for was movies that you hate that everybody else seems to love. And the odd thing is, when I looked at your list, I thought that can't be right. He must have done that the wrong way round. I hoped he'd done it the wrong way round, but it appears I was wrong. Um, James Bond. I don't know how they can make so many films with the same plot line. Here's every James Bond film explained for those who haven't seen one. We're going to break it down here. Jimmy drives a fast car, blows a few things up, shags the girl, kills the terrorists, end of film. It's not that simple. Of course it is, I know it is. But this is what we love, we enjoy it. Godfather is an absolute snooze fest. Oh, Mark. The Godfather is an absolute stone cold classic. But not in your opinion, obviously. Mad Max just looked terrible. For fuck's sake. Can't be doing with it. Matrix is just not for me. And Scarface, the majority of people just bum it for the one famous scene, when in reality it's shit. Never heard it put like that. Which scene are we on about? The one that stands out for me when I first saw it was the scene in the shower stall with the chainsaw. That's the bit that stands out for me. I get the feeling you're talking about the end sequence when he dies in a hail of bullets. Is that what you're talking about? Is that the one you're on about? But either way, that is one hell of a list of movies that you don't like. I honestly thought you got that the wrong way round. 1968, Planet of the Apes. 2 hours of people looking like they are wearing very bad fancy dress costumes. Fuck's sake, Mark. Jesus. Maybe not. I'd say maybe not, wouldn't you? Christ. Di says, mate, you have to watch Apes. You have been challenged, and you have. You have. Look at all the movies you put me through, you lot. He's got to watch it. Even if it's just this one, I just want to see how far you get with it. Mark says, why would you do this to me? Guy says, because it's funny. And I guess it is. They think it's funny when they challenge me to watch something like Freddy Got Fingered or bloody Christ knows what all's coming next. I've got some right challenges coming up. The Raid is one. I've read the synopsis of that and thought, oh Christ, and I've actually bought this. And there's 2 or 3 others as well. We are chucking challenges around like confetti at the moment, aren't we? I love it. I absolutely love it. Now you've got to accept it, mate. Even if you only get 10 minutes into it, I'd love to see what you think of it. Jason P, you said you said the point of your never seen thread is to take you out of your comfort zone. It's a bloody classic. It is, Mark. Oh God, I don't know what to say on this one, because no matter what I say, you'll say nope, shit, bloody rubbish. But you got to watch it first, otherwise you can't pass an opinion like that. So there. As for not liking Bond, my brother doesn't watch them either, and neither do my mum and dad. So God knows why I watch them. This is Jason again, I think. Glad I did though. First Bond movie I watched, and it's still the best one, is Live and Let Die. I was only about 12 when I first watched this. I only watched them when they came on TV. And Mark said, I've seen all the Bonds since GoldenEye, but I don't care for them. Once you've seen one, you've seen them all, in my opinion. Oh. There's no redeeming features in that comment whatsoever. Do you know what, like I was saying earlier, we all have our own opinions, and that is what makes this group what it is. Just a bloody laugh. So, nice one, Mark. Yeah, Jay, I agree with you. Live and Let Die is the first one I saw, and I was about 12. My mum and dad went to see it. My memory of that is standing in the queue. My dad bought the Live and Let Die magazine book that they used to sell, like a press book, and my mum was reading through it, and I always remember my mum saying to my dad, I think this is going to be a bit too scary for him. And she showed him pictures of the black magic rituals. And my dad said, don't be so bloody silly, Pat, it's James Bond. It's not going to be frightening. But I always remember that, So, right, I've got Guy's comment next. I'm going to take a quick break and I'll be back in a sec. And we're back. Right, on with the comments. And after Mark's controversial remarks in the last section, we'll move on to something a little more mainstream. Oh, hang on, no, it's Guy. Possibly not then. Okay, here we go. Guy. Great stuff, mate. Right then. Always get nervous of a comment when it starts like right then or here we go. I'm a Star Trek fan. I love it. The movies 2, 3 and 4 are brilliant. Like the original series, love, in capital letters, love Next Generation. The new stuff is good as well. Strange New Worlds and Discovery. It's just that first film. It's fucking boring. Are you deliberately trying to poke the bear, you lot? Me being the bear, obviously. Oh God, differing tastes again. I absolutely love Star Trek: The Motion Picture. I wasn't really too enamoured with it the first time I watched it. I did see it at the cinema, so it would have been about 1979. And I probably thought the same as you. I do remember looking at my watch sort of an hour and a half into it thinking, how much longer? But with sort of subsequent viewings, I've kind of fallen in love with it. I adore it. I love that movie. And I know it's slow, and I know not much happens, but visually it's brilliant, absolutely superb. So we are going to agree to disagree on Star Trek the Motion Picture. I can feel a Higgis episode on Star Trek coming on in the next series. Callista? Callie replied, funny you should say that. Have you done Star Trek before? I can't remember. You've done quite a few episodes now, haven't you? That would be a good one. Yeah, definitely. I'm with Jason. Godfather trilogy is shit. God damn. Poke that bear. Poke it. I'm not going into the Godfather again. Suffice to say, I enjoy it. I haven't seen the second one in quite a few years, but I think that's getting close to 4 hours. So that's another epic morning's worth. And The Godfather Part 3, I don't remember being too taken with it, but I do need to watch the entire trilogy, and I insist you do the same. Like that's going to happen. You need to watch the Nolan Batman trilogy. I do, you're absolutely right. I think I've seen part of Batman Begins, but that's as far as it goes. And The Dark Knight, I get the feeling I've seen bits of it. But I can't remember ever watching the whole thing. So yes, I do need to take that in. I'll see if there's a decent Blu-ray box set that I can grab, but I'm fairly sure it's on Disney Plus. I'm fairly sure it's on Disney Plus. So yes, leave that with me. Whoa, Tony challenges Mark. It just got interesting. That's me challenging Mark to Planet of the Apes. Like I said earlier, we are throwing challenges around like confetti at the moment. Maybe I should be challenging all of you a little bit more. I'll have to give that some thought. I'm not sure what I would challenge you to watch, Guy, because your comfort zone is fairly sort of standard, isn't it? Not like mine. Whereas anything that's remotely sort of ultra violent or sleazy or whatever, well, not so much sleazy, I don't mind a bit of sleaze every now and then, but ultra violent, it just turns me off. But you'll pretty much watch anything apart from The Godfather. No, I wouldn't do that to you. I would fucking love to, but no, I'm not going to. I will come across a movie at some point and I'll think, that's definitely out of Guy's wheelhouse, we'll try that one. But it won't be The Godfather, and it won't be Star Trek: The Motion Picture, because I'm fairly sure you've actually seen it, which is why you know that it's slow. So thanks for that, Guy. Much appreciated, mate. Always brilliant to hear from you. Callie. Where do I even start? At the top, and we'll work our way down. Saturday morning Tony time with the brew. I could almost see Jason scribbling away on a pad of everything that was going off. Welcome back, Chris. We haven't heard anything from Chris since he put that welcome back video. Hope you're okay, mate. Really looking forward to seeing you posting again. It does take a bit of getting back into, I would assume. So we'll see you when you see you, but we're here for you when you're ready, mate. Turning films off halfway through, there is only one film that I've ever done that with, a British horror film called Bane. Literally the worst film I've ever seen, and that's coming from me. I've never heard of this. Bane. No, you completely got me on that. Is it a Scottish thing? Am I thinking of something else? No, you got me on that one. I'm going to have to look into that one. The American Pie movies, what can I say? Great teen comedy that I grew up with, so I love them purely for nostalgia. I've been saying for the last few weeks that I wasn't overly keen on them. I've seen them all. They do make me laugh, just not the way the Carry On films do, or stuff like that. Rob loves them, he absolutely adores them, so obviously I have to put them on every now and then because compromise is the name of the game, as Guy once told me. So, saying that, compromise. I made the fatal mistake. If any of you know Rob, please don't quote me on this. I made the fatal mistake one day, just before Sunday lunch, of saying, what do you fancy watching while we're having dinner? And I gave him the remote and said, you put something on you want on for a change. What did we get? The Real Housewives. And as soon as I walk in, I could feel my IQ level dropping just listening to these fucking vacuous, stupid cows talking absolute, complete and utter fucking bollocks, and American, which made it even worse. And I actually had to sit through, I think, 15, 20 minutes of this, and eventually I think he got pissed off with me going, oh, for fuck's sake, do these women ever say anything remotely interesting, ever? Apart from what coloured dress they're going to wear, or does me lippy look or fuck's sake. I digress. What were we talking about? Sorry about that. I think we were on about the American Pie movies. Real Housewives. Does anybody else watch it? Does anybody actually enjoy it? Because if you do, please message me or put a post on and just try to explain to me what people find interesting about these pointless people. They're just the worst possible example of what real life is supposedly like. Like I've always said, the only way is Essex, complete and utter crap. And there's a whole generation of young people out there that think that Essex is really like that. All everywhere, all Essex is like that. That's it. I'm done. That's this week's rant. The 2016 Ghostbusters, I actually like it. Unlike most of Hollywood, at least they tried something new. It's true, and I get the feeling I'm probably going to say the same when I get round to watching it. The problem with reboots is the audience. If you make it just like the original example, the Gus Van Sant Psycho, which I enjoyed actually, then people complain by saying, oh, it's the same as the old one. But if they completely change it by, making the team a group of women instead of men, then people complain saying, oh, it's nothing like the old one, so I don't like it. So my advice is just watch a film for what it is. Just because it's a reboot. 5, 4, 3, 2, fucking 1. Just because a reboot exists doesn't mean the original suddenly fades out of existence. That was a bit rantier than it should have been. No, it wasn't. It was nowhere near as rantier as it could have been. Definitely not. I'm coming round to that way of thinking. There's a little piece later on, if I get onto it, about a remake of a classic movie coming up. Well, I thought it was coming up later this year. Turns out it was a fake. But every time I hear about a remake of what I consider to be a classic film, my thoughts usually are or were, they can't possibly do this, it will never work. Instead of giving it a chance, watching it, and basically forming an objective opinion from what is in front of me rather than what I think I should be saying. As for remakes, here's a good question for you guys. Is there a remake out there that you've watched that you went into with kind of low expectations and you've actually come away from it thinking that wasn't bad? So yeah, let's have a question then. Is there a remake out there from whenever that you've watched and thought that wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be? Not as good as the original, or even better, maybe. Um, I'll have a think on it and I'll give you my answers to that one next week. Tony, trust me, watch Silent Hill. It's the perfect video game film for non-gamers, like the Fallout TV series. You don't have to have played the games to enjoy the film, so give it a watch. I shall add it to my watch list. I did enjoy the trailer. I do remember thinking, God, that looks absolutely amazing. And then a few days later, I found out it was based on a video game, and I thought, no thanks. So, but I will add it to the watch list. I'll trust you on that one, Callie, like I trust you on Nightbreed, which I've still got to watch yet. Wait, there's a film about a zombie kangaroo. Why was I not told about this? The trailer was on the group, Callie. I'll tell you what, if I think on, I'll repost it. JK, your hero, posted it. It's called The Red. And I have to say, it looks bloody brilliant. I can't wait to watch it. If I think on, I'll repost the trailer. But yeah, it was on. You must have missed that one. Tony Harris doing OnlyFans. Tony Harris doing OnlyFans. We could call it Tony Fans. OnlyFans. I need to look into what OnlyFans is. I've got a fair idea of what most people use it for. Would I need an OnlyFans account? What the fuck for? What would I do with it? So, Kelly, I think it was Mark that said that. Tony fans, I love it, Kelly said. Mark said, as soon as he said OnlyFans, that was the first thing that popped into my head. Did I say OnlyFans? I can't remember. If I did, it was coming from a very, very dark place, because I don't even know what OnlyFans is, not properly. So Callie replied to this, I'm going to see if I can buy the domain name, and off she trundled to find it. I asked what you'd do with it if you got it, and Mark said it'll just be a website of pictures of your head cropped onto random bodies, and I'll charge people $9.99 a month to sign up to it. What? $9.99? OnlyFans is a thing of the past. Tony fans is the future. I've got to take your word for that. What on earth? Why would anybody want it? I mean, they can come onto the group if they want to see my head posted onto various bodies, and it won't cost them $9.99 a month to do it. Then Callie came back and said, great news, it's available for £1. Woo! Please tell me you didn't buy it. You could be opening up a very messy can of worms with that one. I will look into OnlyFans, because I'm just curious to know what it actually is, or more to the point, what it is supposed to be used for. Because I get the feeling that a lot of people use it for personal reasons, let's say. But I'll let you know when I've looked into it a bit more. Here's my take on the Trek films. Wrath of Khan is overrated. Oh my God, I thought we'd had the worst from Mark. Fuck's sake. Callie, God damn it. The Wrath of Khan is overrated. The Wrath of Khan is possibly the original Cruise movies. Oh God, what was that going to sound like? The Wrath of Khan is, I think, the finest movie from the original crew. It is, I would say this is a sequel that is better than the original. Obviously Star Trek the Motion Picture was the original. Star Trek The Wrath of Khan came out probably 3 years later, and I actually thought it was better. They got gradually worse from there on in, but they're still watchable. They're still brilliant movies. Can it get any worse? Let's see, shall we? Talking about weight. Time for me to make everyone jealous. I'm currently just under 10 stone, and the heaviest I've ever been is 13 stone. I feel like a right skinny bitch. I wish I could fucking say that. Skinny is something I'm definitely not. But I am working on it. I'm making little improvements every now and then. So hopefully I'll see the weight coming down, especially if I can get the walking kicked off the way I plan to later on today. A bit late to the party, but films that people love and I don't. Here goes. Lord of the Rings. Yeah, Dave Taylor was saying about Lord of the Rings. It's hard for me to form an opinion because I've only seen the first one. They reckon they get better as you go on. And I've not seen any of the Hobbit trilogy, so I can't really comment on that one. Harry Potter, again, seen the first one, got a beautiful box set of all 8, which I haven't watched yet. I quite enjoyed the first one, but I don't think it was anything special. Fast and Furious, all of them. I don't know. Again, I quite enjoyed the first one, but what the rest of them are like, I don't know. I do know they get gradually sillier. Doesn't one of them end up in space or something? Yeah, we're entering a different realm there with that one. But I'm not the greatest fan, but I will. Now I've got the box set, I will watch them and just see how I get on with them. The Sound of Music. God, I was brought up on The Sound of Music. My mum loved it. Every time it was on TV, and it was usually a bank holiday, you just hear Do Re Mi coming from the living room. She loved it. She absolutely adored The Sound of Music. And me growing up with it, I kind of fell in love with it myself, like I did with South Pacific, which I found out in later years is the very first movie that my dad took my mum to see at the cinema when they were first dating before they were married. So obviously I took a look at South Pacific, loved it. I've still got upstairs the tattiest looking vinyl soundtrack you've ever seen. But it's a precious memory for me because my dad bought it for my mum after they'd seen South Pacific. So Sound of Music, I do love it. I do. I've got to admit, Dirty Dancing, better than I thought it was going to be. It's a movie I avoided for probably 2-3 years after it came out, and finally watched it because I think it was one of the only ones that was left on the shelf. I think it was a bank holiday. There was nothing on TV, and I think most of the titles have been taken out. And Dirty Dancing was probably one of the last ones there, and I thought, oh, go on then. And do you know what? I really, really enjoyed it. That last scene is just amazing. And that's my 5. Thanks for that, Callie. Much appreciated. Splash. I loved it as a kid, but I've not seen it in years. I feel a rewatch coming on. Never seen it, so I can't comment on that. I know it's Tom Hanks and Daryl Hannah. I know it was massive when it first came out, but it's not one that I've ever been interested in watching. I'll be honest, I've never walked out of the cinema, but I came close when I went to see the '96 Judge Dredd. Is this the Stallone version? The second he took his helmet off, I actually yelled, he doesn't take his fucking helmet off in the comics. You are a comic geek, aren't you? I'm pretty much the same. If I've read the book and I watch the film, the first thing I'll be thinking is, they've missed this out, or they've added this in. This didn't happen in the book. So I do kind of get that. Mark, I'm in agreement with everyone else. Watch the original Planet of the Apes. Even if you don't like it, it's a landmark film. It is, Mark, and you have been challenged. I don't think you'll like it. I really don't. I would love to think that you'll come away from it saying, my God, that was brilliant. I'm really, really pleased you put me onto that one, but got more chance of platting fog. So, but we'll see. Looking forward to seeing that Phantasm box set, Hon. They are some of my favourite films. I just happen to have them right next to me. Now, you guys have probably seen these before, so if you have, just bear with me. Here we go. First off, oh, excuse me. That is the Phantasm box set that I've got. This is the first time it's been out, the cellophane. Sam has terrible trouble with this. I watched one of his videos yesterday. He had one hell of a job getting the cellophane off. This one was easy. Individual discs is another matter. So, let's see now. You've got in here the original Phantasm. Phantasm 2. Phantasm 2. Oblivion. And Ravager, which I believe is the full complement. I've only ever seen the first one. I really wanted this box set because it had got them all in. So I think this will be of interest to you as well, Sam, because I think I was going to show you these, wasn't I? That's the Arrow box set. If you want to freeze frame, that's all your special features. It's absolutely loaded with special features. And I've also got a couple of books here that I think you'll find interesting. If you want to know anything about the Phantasm franchise, grab a copy of this. This is everything you could ever wish to know about the Phantasm franchise. It has got everything. I won't even try to do a quick one, but we're rubbish at this. Loaded with pictures, articles. This is just the original movie. It's an amazing book to dip into. Freudian slip there. To dip into. Sorry. Childish. And there's another one. Phantasm exhumed further. Further exhumed. The Strange Case of Phantasm Ravager. Now, I've not read this, and I don't know what the Strange Case of Phantasm Ravager is, but I intend to find out, and that's another fairly hefty volume. A couple of cracking books. Now, the rest of the group will have seen this, but I don't know whether you have, Callie, so I'm going to show it to you, and also Sam will love this. I've not only got the Blu-rays on a box set, I've also got the DVDs in this absolutely amazing set that Chris Eukin kindly sent to me a few months ago. I need to display this. Just check this out, Callie, you will love this. It comes with a little book. Again, just short articles about the movie. Look at this. Recognise that? It's a thing of beauty, but hang on. There are all the DVDs inside it. Isn't that gorgeous? He sent this to me. Top goes on. It's got a lovely little plastic base that you sit it on, because if you don't sit it on that, it rolls off. So I'll pop that on there. But isn't that a thing of beauty? That's probably the only real collectible I've got. And that's going to be proudly displayed behind me when I get this damn bloody air fryer out of the way. Let's see. So there you go. You've now seen my Phantasm box set. Another cracking episode, honey, and I actually got to watch it all in one sitting. Bit sad there was no shout out for me. I'm sorry about that, but I've made up for it this week, and you most definitely have made up for the for it this week. But I hope this epic comment. I hope this epic 5, 4, 3, 2, fucking 1. But I hope this epic comment of epicness makes up for me slacking off last week. You didn't slack off. You just didn't get a chance. I mean, if you're looking after your daughter, you're not going to be thinking about me, are you? So, Jason, you commented on Callie's epic. Just read Callie's comment. Challenge accepted. It wasn't a challenge, but you obviously thought the gauntlet had been thrown down, and you kind of went for it. Let's see. Am I even going to get all this in? I'm going to have to take a break halfway through this one. We're going to go over an hour, guys. I'm fairly sure of it. Let's see. I've got another 8 minutes before I hit 30 minutes, so we'll see how far we get. Jason, morning, Jay. Great video as always. I was forgetting to take notes as I was just chilling out watching, so never made any on the first 10 minutes. You didn't miss anything, mate. We've got bullet points again. Bullet point number 1, Ghostbusters 2016. I enjoyed it. I'm going to shove this to the top of your watch list, I think, because this keeps coming up. Number 2, I'm the same as you. I go to say something to the wife and it just goes. I'm like, what was I going to say? Must be an age thing. Oh, it's weird talking about it. Oh, there it goes again. It's weird talking about age things with somebody that's a lot younger than I am. It makes me feel slightly better about myself, actually, because I think, well, if he's doing it, it's not that bad. I've always done it. I'm especially bad with names at work. These are people that I've worked with for 15 years. I'll walk past them, and all I'll say is, morning, and that's all I'm going to remember. That's all I'm going to be remembered for when I leave there, I'm sure of it. If somebody says, you remember Tony, don't you? And they'll say, no. He used to walk by and he'd say, hello, oh, yeah. It ain't just you, mate, I promise you. Hangover trilogy and Chris Nolan Batman trilogy are just brilliant and must be watched. I'll take a look and see if I can pick up a Blu-ray set of The Hangover, because I keep hearing about this and how brilliant it is. I presume it's in the same vein as American Pie. Am I far wrong with that one? I'll have a look. I've not seen them streaming anywhere, but I could be wrong. I'll have a look. Number 4. I actually did a 60-minute video. Remember, I knocked one out in inverted commas in the hospital car park. I remember you doing a video from the hospital car park. I don't remember it being 60 minutes. Post it again, Jay, on your memories or something, because I would love to watch that. I must have seen it. I must have watched it, but I don't. For some reason, I don't remember it. Mark, you replied, still waiting for you to knock another one out, as we all are. We're all looking forward to that. Number 5, I'm going to give Once Upon a Time in Hollywood a fourth go. 3 times and I've never gone past the hour mark. Maybe I should give it my full attention one more time. If it pops up in the never seen thread, you know I've watched it all. You know what? You've always said this. If you like a movie, you like it. If you don't, you don't. You can't force yourself to like things. I'm currently watching Deadpool for the second time. And I have to say, I'm enjoying it a lot more than I did the first time round. I'm about halfway through it, but I may go back and watch the first half again when just to watch it all in one sitting. So yeah, it does occasionally work, but if you've watched it 3 or 4 times and you've never got past the hour mark, I'd be surprised if you got on with it sort of a 5th time. But by all means, give it another go. I would love to hear you say that, actually I got it wrong. I really enjoyed it. But it's just one of those. It is what it is. Do you know what I mean? You either love a film or you don't. There are no degrees. There are no greys in between. I don't think. Well, I suppose there are. You can kind of like something, but let me know when. Well, if it appears on Never Seen, I'll know you've done it. I wouldn't say I loved it, but I did enjoy it. But I enjoy all of Tarantino's work. So number 6, I love Lady in the Van. Watched it about 3 or 4 times now, based on true events too, which makes it even more enjoyable. I enjoyed it. I really did. The only reason it was a bin it or keep it is I was just asking myself, will I watch it again? And it's fairly often on sort of iPlayer and stuff like that, isn't it? I've seen it on iPlayer no end of times, and I get the feeling it is readily available if I do feel the need to watch it again. But I enjoyed it the first time round. It's just highly unlikely that I'll bother with it again, which is why it's winging its way to the charity shop as we speak. Number 7, Spider-Man animated. No thanks. Oh, these movies are very divisive. Some love them, some hate them. I've had 1 or 2 people saying, "No, you're a completist. You've got to watch them." I get the feeling I probably will, but saying that, what was it I was watching? No Way Home, Spider-Man No Way Home, and I realised I don't get the concept of the multiverse. I don't understand it. It's just one of those things that I watched, thoroughly enjoyed it. Again, visually stunning, very watchable. Saw it all the way through. Great to see Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield back and all those villains back. But the concept of these other Spider-Mans coming from a different universe, and all those villains coming from different universes but from different times with different outcomes. My head. No, it wasn't working. And the more I think about it, the more confused I get. So I've now decided I'm not a massive fan of anything that is sort of multiverse related, because most of it just doesn't make any sense to me, and it doesn't. And I can't help that. It's just this old head. It can't cope with things like that. So that's the only thing that puts me off this Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, or whatever the hell it is if it's going to be 2 to 2.5 hours of people coming from different universes, and I've somehow got to hold all this information in this cobwebbed old head of mine. It's not going to work. But if people insist that I have a look at it because I'm a completist, then I'll take a look. But I'm not holding out much hope. Number 8, HMV have a 50% sale on Blu-rays and 4Ks using a code. Loads of 4Ks down to a tenner. Really? Oh, I need to have a look at that. Let's see. I am coming up to 29 minutes. I better take a break because I said I'd have to do this in 2 parts. We're going to shoot over an hour, guys. But I don't think you'll be complaining about that. I'll be back in a sec with more. And we're back. Right, coming into the home stretch, guys. Let's see. Carrying on with Jayce's comments. Bullet point 9. Regarding The Wizard of Oz Christmas premiere. As you know, or probably forgot, yeah, more than likely, during the middle of October, I start a Christmas thread on the TV group. Every day I'll do a year starting with 1970, 50 years of Christmas TV. I can't wait for this one, Jay. For the last few months, I've been making notes on some of the programmes that were on TV during the Christmas New Year 2 week period for that year. Also includes the Christmas Top 10 music charts, but mainly it will feature movies that premiered in that 2 week period. I've downloaded all the movie posters for the 70s, and I'm pretty sure Wizard of Oz was amongst them. You'll just have to wait and see. Some days will be quieter than others, as not much was on, but then some years are really busy. Not sure how it's going to look yet, but I'm going from 1970 to 2024. I am really, really looking forward to this. I was basically saying, we're talking about the Wizard of Oz, and I can't remember why. But I was saying that I remembered it premiering on Christmas TV on BBC One, and I'm sure it was Christmas 1976. But I think you said it was Christmas 1975. We come on to that in a bit because there's a PS. But basically, I remembered seeing it in this, which is a diary that I was given for Christmas 1975, and I filled this out for about 6 months, believe it or not. This contains the ramblings of a 13-year-old. If you think I ramble a lot now, you should see the kind of stuff I wrote in this. Just to give you an idea, I might do this next year actually, because it'll be coming up on 50 years when I actually receive this, so I may read out a few entries over Christmas or next year. But this is Thursday, the 22nd of January. During the last fortnight, an ink pad and a series of small war books have gone missing from the library. Oh dear. Today the librarians were called to tell Mr. Smith what we know about it. Yes, I was a librarian, believe it or not, when I was at school. You'll find that very easy to believe. To tell the truth, I don't know who took them. And that's the entry for Thursday, the 22nd of March. That's the kind of pointless drivel that seemed important when you're 13. If you want to hear more entries from that, let me know. There's all sorts of stuff in there. A lot of it regarding movies and TV that I watched and music that I was listening to. A lot of it to do with school days, stuff like that. Occasionally I get it out and I read it just to remind myself that I was young once. I wasn't always like this. But yeah, I'll probably read a few more entries out on sort of next year or over Christmas or whatever. Bullet point number 10. I don't accept friend requests from anyone I don't know. I don't accept from someone I do know if I think they're a knob. I'm with you totally on that one. My Facebook privacy is set so nobody can friend request me unless we have a mutual friend. I didn't know you could do that. That might be that might be an idea actually. I'll give that some thought. And every couple of years I have a cull. If people don't bother posting or interacting with me, I get rid of them. I normally get rid of about 50 in one swoop. I've done it before, and I have. Normally I'll just go through it, and I think I'm down to about 130 something now. I was up to 500, but I was looking through them and thought, I don't even know who this person is. Who is it? Gone. So yeah, I totally get that. Guaranteed I will see someone I've removed the next day. Not seen them for years, but remove them and they pop up. That's never happened to me, and I'm glad it don't, because I wouldn't know what to say. Definitely not. Have a good week, mate. Cheers, Jay. You put a PS, Wizard of Oz. This is where we got to the Wizard of Oz. Premiered over the Christmas period on BBC One in 1975. I knew that I hadn't imagined it, but for some reason I have not entered it in there, and I don't know why. I thought that's where I'd seen it, but obviously I was wrong. Let's see. Not only will you see what movies premiered over the Christmas and New Year period, but which channel it premiered on. Really looking forward to this, Jay. This will be on the Retro TV group as it's TV related. The Christmas Top 10 music charts from the 1970s will be posted on the music group. I've got a book related to that, which if I think on, I'll drag down and I'll show you. You might find that very interesting. Monday the 14th of October it all starts. I've timed it to finish in the first week of December. The last day will feature highlights for 2024. Can't wait. Honestly, really looking forward to that. I love Christmas TV. Always loved Christmas TV because I love Christmas. So yeah, well up for that one. You're Never Seen this week. Week 33 of 50. Pale Rider, 1985. Never seen it. A mysterious preacher protects a humble prospector village from a greedy mining company trying to encroach on their land. Another one of those that I didn't even take off the video shelf just because it was a Western. I can still see the big black chunky plastic VHS case on the shelf now. I can visualise it. I can see it myself. This movie I enjoyed. It could have been a bit longer and a bit more violent, but we can't have everything. Yes, I'd watch this again too. I have got it upstairs in a collection of Clint Eastwood westerns that weren't The Man with No Name. I think Pale Rider was one. I believe The Unforgiven is another. And I think The Outlaw Josie Wales, which you did 2-3 weeks ago. So I need to drag that collection down and start taking a look at that. Mark, you said never seen it. You say the same thing every week. Mind you, so do I, to be fair. I was also reminded that you had already done The French Connection. I think I mentioned in last week's video that if you hadn't already done it, I would love to see what you made of The French Connection. And you had actually done it. Never seen it, week 11 of 50. That's probably why I'd forgotten it. The French Connection, 1971. A pair of NYPD detectives in the Narcotics Bureau stumble onto a heroin smuggling ring based in Marseille, but stopping them and capturing their leaders proves an elusive goal. Not a bad film for the age, really. I wouldn't watch it again, but I will watch the sequel. Mark said nope. That's no surprise there then. Did you watch the sequel? You're probably going to remind me of that one now. If you did, I'd be curious to know what you made of that one. I have seen the original a couple of times, really enjoyed it. Thought it was a bit slow the first time, but the second time I really did get on with it a lot better. But I've not got round to French Connection 2 yet, so I'd be curious to know what you made of that. That's all the comments for this week. There's a couple of bits here to mention. I've got here Alien Romulus reviews. Rick loved it and loved that face hugger popcorn holder. I'll be looking into more reviews of Alien Romulus this week just to get the general consensus of what everybody thinks about it. But from what I've read so far, and it's only a tiny handful of reviews, it's going down really, really well. And as I say, with Fede Alvarez at the helm, you're talking about somebody that knows how to make a horror film. So I don't think you can go far wrong, but we shall see. I'll come back to that one. Now, Guy, you posted something this week that I think you hoped would set me off on some kind of a rant. Well, you were wrong. It was a post concerning a remake of A Clockwork Orange. Shock. Starring Tom Holland, which was due to be released in September 2024. Now, alarm bells rang straight away because I knew nothing about this, and I'm fairly sure that this would have come up on either the Facebook feed or one of the movie blogs that I subscribe to. I would have heard about it, but I hadn't. So alarm bells rang straight away. Let's see, the synopsis that was underneath this picture of Tom Holland as Alex. Join Tom Holland as he embodies Alex Delage in the groundbreaking revival of A Clockwork Orange, a cinematic exploration of free will, violence and redemption set against a dystopian future. Backdrop, sorry, not future, can't read. This modern rendition thrusts you no less, into a visually stunning, psychologically intense journey that questions the very fabric of human nature and societal mechanisms of control. Of course it does. Witness the transformation of Alex in this compelling narrative, coming to theatres in September 2024, directed by Guy Ritchie. Massive alarm bells. Guy Ritchie directing A Clockwork Orange? I don't think so. Jimmy Lee Ufton, you said, is this real though? Got done by a fan poster recently. Join the club. I get done by them pretty much every week. Steve Mack, I think that's a little white lie, I'm afraid. I think so too. I just put, dear Christ, I hope this isn't real. They can't, surely they can't, can they? Jason P, you're not falling for the fake video, are you, Guy? Guy replied, I'm not. I want to see if I can reel our fearless leader in, though. You came close, I tell you now. If it hadn't been a Clockwork Orange and something a little less well known or well loved, you might just have got me with that one. Jason said, I did wonder that too. Just want to see one of his rants and watch his head boil. No, not this week, I'm afraid. If I'm being honest, Tom Holland looked good as Alex on that poster. I think he looked the part. As for remaking the movie, do you know what? I'm sick of saying, no, don't touch that. You can't do that one. It's sacred. But do you know what? If they did one, I would have a look at it. And I think that if it was done right, it might work. But oh God, I don't know. All I know is that I looked at the picture of Tom Holland and thought, I can see that. I can actually see that working. But who would be brave enough to take on a remake of a Kubrick classic? Who would do it? It'd be like saying The Shining. I mean, that's been remade 2 or 3 times. Mostly for TV, I think. But there are certain films that you look at and you're quite right in saying, no, please don't do it, please don't do it. All I'm going on is the fact that I thought Tom Holland actually looked the part, and he looked like he could have pulled it off. So we shall see. I don't think it's ever going to happen. I don't know of anybody brave enough to take on a movie like that, but we shall see. So barking up the wrong tree with that one, Guy. Try again. Sammy G's World of Cinema. Morning, mate. Loved your video on the Signal One purchases. Thanks for tipping me off to the sale. I'd never heard of them, so I've been on their website, and believe me, I'm going to be making an order or creating an order at some point today. I can see it coming. The ones you picked up, Nightmare Alley, the original, as opposed to the Guillermo del Toro 5432 fucking one remake, which I've seen neither, but I've heard very good things about the black and white original. Wouldn't mind seeing that. The Little Girl Who Lives Down the Lane. I get the feeling I've seen this. This is Jodie Foster, as you said. And I do believe, isn't there a scene of animal cruelty in it to do with a hamster or something like that? I think I've seen it, but I don't think I'd want to watch it again. Stagecoach. I would love to see Stagecoach again. I saw it many, many years ago, decades ago. I don't remember people like Bing Crosby being in it, but they must have been. You also watched The Searchers. You love your westerns, don't you? And you loved it. By the way, you obviously have the same trouble getting shrink wrap off DVDs and Blu-rays that I do. I piss about for ages trying to get my fingernail down that little aperture in the side. Sometimes it works and sometimes it don't, but you basically have the same trouble as I do. Yes, you do love your westerns. I'll recommend this one to you if you like your John Wayne films, if you enjoyed Stagecoach. This is a nice little box set to have. I think this cost me about £9 second hand from Music Magpie. And in this you've got Hondo, McClintock, True Grit, which I loved, Rio Lobo, El Dorado, Big Jake, The Shootist, that was his final film, The Sons of Katie Elder, which is a movie I've always wanted to see. It was always on a Sunday afternoon, usually during the summer. I just remember it was on probably once or twice a year, and I never did get round to watching it. And The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance. So that's a nice little box set to get on DVD if you like your westerns. But what else do we have here? The 7-Ups. Roy Scheider. Watched it a while ago. Really, really enjoyed it. Haven't got it on Blu-ray. The Panic in Needle Park. I've heard that title. I didn't realise Al Pacino was in it. I watched the trailer for this one yesterday. My God, that looks bleak. Bleak and depressing, but it looks really, really good. I do love movies set in 1970s New York. There's just something about it. For me, I love it. Absolutely. I love Taxi Driver. I love the series Taxi, which I believe was set in New York as well. Rhoda, the comedy series, that was set in New York. I love 70s New York. So I get the feeling I would get on with this film. So I can see me ordering that one. And next stop, Greenwich Village. Watch the trailer for that one. Love the look of it. Absolutely love the look of it. So that's another one that I'm going to be grabbing. Five Corners. I've not had a chance to look at that one yet, but I do remember it coming out. I've no idea what it was about, but I think you mentioned that it's another movie set in New York. So there's a very good possibility I will be ordering, let's see, Stagecoach, Panic in Needle Park, Next Stop Greenwich Village, and Five Corners. And there were two or three others on there that I really like the look of, including Doc with Stacey Keach, which is to do with Doc Holliday and the gunfight at the OK Corral. And there was at least another one or two. So I will be spending some money in there. But the thing is, most of them are, five, as you say, £5, £7. On Amazon, you're looking at £11 and upwards for them. So, to my mind, it'd be daft not to at least grab them while they're at that price. So, you watch. When I go on there this afternoon to order them, they'll have all shot up back to normal price. It looks a cracking sale, so I appreciate the tip off on that one. Let's see, what else have I got here? Most annoying ad on TV. I'm going to come back on this one next week because I need to watch it one more time to make sure I've got it absolutely right. But it is just an ad that when it comes on, it irritates the fucking crap out of me. I bloody well hate it. I've only got to hear the first line and I'm reaching for the remote to mute it because I just can't stand it. I hate it that much. I'll come back onto that. Let's see, what was that first line? I see you, okay? Do you dance? You know the one I mean? We'll do it now, fuck it. Lucas say, bring the energy. All it brings to me is the desire to put my foot through the TV. I absolutely loathe it. Rock off, rock off. Yeah, it sounds like fuck off. We get it. Yeah, it's funny. It's really funny, you know, for about the first time. But when you hear it, there was an evening when it came on, literally every ad break. And I was just basically shouting, for fuck's sake, not again. Where is it? This bloody advert. That's me. That's another rant. So, yeah, most annoying advert at the moment is Lucasade, bring the energy. That's it. I'm done with that one. What is the most annoying ad on TV to you guys? That's another question for this week. The most annoying advert. Does that one irritate you, or is it just me because I can't stand rap music? Like I say, I've only got to hear the first line. It's, where's the remote? Off. So that was that one. Mark, you were saying you were just about to watch the Time Bandits, but you never seen Thread, but you watched the trailer first. That's a definite note. Look, shit. So you've made your mind up about that one before you've even seen it. Jason, you commented, the film or the series has never interested me. Again, it's one of them things that you either love or you hate. It's Mark, you were right up for that one. And all of a sudden you watch the trailer and it's like, no, looks wank now. Oh God. Let's see, what have I got here? Is there anything else I need to cover? Not especially, I don't think. Some of these I think I did last week and I've just not deleted them. Sausage Party, that was one. I think that's it, pretty much, this week. There was one that I was going to do the other week, but again, I'm going to move it over to next week, and that's films and music videos that scared me as a kid. I've got two here. I need to get my thoughts together for that one, so we'll come back to that. So I'll show off a few bits here. A couple of little features that I started. Double bill for this week. This is where I show off a movie that I personally enjoy, and if I was going to send it out on the cinema circuit on a double bill, I'll match it up with another movie. My first one, or this week's, is Flash Gordon from 1980. Absolutely love this film. Bright, colourful sci-fi. I think it was directed by Dino De Laurentiis, am I right? Directed by Mike Hodges. Completely fucking wrong with that one. I really should check my facts. But I love this. The Queen soundtrack is superb. As I say, it's brightly coloured. The colours just scream out the screen at you. Absolutely loved it. What would I send this out on a double bill with? a very similar animal to me. Slightly more adult, but I would send it out with Barbarella. And I'm sure this is Dino De Laurentiis. I'm fairly certain of it. Directed by, I can't read that. Can't read it. But this is the movie I would send it out with because it looks very, very similar in style, even though the two films are, let's see, 70s, 80s, probably 20 years apart or more. But that's the movie I would send that out on a double bill with. Flash Gordon, oh, there you go, along with Barbarella, because basically they look very similar in visual style. I think so anyway. Shows I grew up with. Forgive me if I've shown any of these off before. I can't remember which ones I've already done. I should really make a note. This week it's The Forest Rangers. This is basically a Canadian series about a group of kids who are basically junior rangers and the various adventures that they have within this wooden fort that they've built. Magical stuff, absolutely magical stuff. Is from the late 60s, early 70s. The theme tune stuck in my head for years. I really enjoyed this. This is no longer available. I remember reading, because I wanted season 2. This is season 1 part 1, and I'd also got season 1 part 2. And I remember looking up various companies trying to find season 2. Apparently it doesn't exist anymore. The studios or the building that housed the prints burnt down years ago, along with a lot of TV series, including that one. So they've basically been scouring the planet ever since, trying to find copies of it from various TV stations. It's not happened yet. I have managed to get hold of season 2 on a download, which are passable, but I would love to see a DVD release. And with this being a rare series, I bet those 2 volumes are worth quite a lot now. So what I've got here now, very quickly, I've got 5 blind buys that I bought, not knowing knowing very little or nothing about them, and I haven't had a chance to watch them yet. So, first one, Sorcerer. Now, this was directed by William Friedkin, who made The Exorcist. It stars Roy Scheider and a host of other stars. It's about a group of ex-cons who get a job to make some very easy, lots of money driving lorries full of nitroglycerin along a road on a long journey at the risk of dying through explosion and all this sort of thing. I haven't watched this yet. It's a remake of a black and white French movie called The Wages of Fear, which I saw many, many years ago and absolutely adored, and I've been dying to see this, so I grabbed the Blu-ray of it. So I did know a bit about that one, but I've not seen it as yet. Next blind buy, King Kong. I think this is one of your favourites, Jace. This is the 1976 version with, Jessica Lange, Charles Grodin and Beau Bridges. I've never seen it. I do remember seeing the trailer for this when it first came out in 1976 and thinking, my God, the special effects look awesome in this. Whether they look the same now, I'm not sure, but this is a 4K release, so I'm looking forward to getting to grips with that one, but I've never seen it. Next one, another blind buy, Annette. This is a musical based on some of the music of Sparks. Big Sparks fan. So as soon as I heard about this, I thought I've got to have it. I have watched the first 10-15 minutes, enjoyed it, but never got further than that. I don't think I was in the right frame of mind to be watching it, because I wasn't enjoying it as much as I probably thought I should. But I do need to get back onto that one. Next one. I listened to a podcast on this. They talked about it with such passion, I couldn't resist grabbing a copy of it. Charlie Varick, starring Walter Matthau. I know very, very little about this apart from what I've heard on the podcast, most of which I cannot remember. But I grabbed a copy of this for about £6. Need to take a look at that. Still in the cellophane. And finally, Willy's Wonderland with Nicolas Cage. I want to watch a movie called Five Nights at Freddy's, and a lot of people are saying that it is very, very similar to this movie. So I grabbed a copy of this. I will be taking a look at Five Nights at Freddy's at some point, but I get the feeling they're going to be a very similar animal. But that's 5 blind buys that I bought knowing very, very little about them and haven't had the chance to watch yet. So that was a pointless exercise, wasn't it? But it killed 5 minutes. Right, a few bits I've bought. Oh, last night's movie. I'm still into the Pete Walker box set. Rob is really sort of digging these. He's quite enjoying them. This one, House of Whipcord. Oh, it sounds like a kinky nightmare, doesn't it? It's not. This is actually a really bleak, dark movie. Just really enjoying these Pete Walker films. He pushed the envelope, he pushed the boundaries, he challenged the censors constantly. My kind of guy. This is basically about a girl who meets a guy who takes her away on a weekend, drops her off at a prison facility that used to be an old jail, where she is basically tortured. It's hard to describe it. It's the kind of movie that I don't think you could make it nowadays. Not exactly like this. It's exploitation at its best, but that's what Pete Walker did best, is exploitation movies. But I really enjoyed this one, and I think Rob did as well. Looking forward to next week's, which I think is going to be, the House of Mortal Sin, which I don't know whether that's going to be a similar one, but I'm working my way through that Flesh and Blood box set that he bought me for my birthday, which hasn't even happened yet. So we'll have watched all these by the time that is, hopefully. That was last night's. Now, some bits I've bought. First off, I've grabbed a copy of Sausage Party. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet, but I will be taking this one in very shortly. I saw it on Amazon for about £1.09, so I thought, oh, stuff downloading it or trying to find it for streaming, I'll just grab that one just as easy. But am I going to like it? Who knows? Is it going to be a bin it or keep it? What do you guys think? Next one. I saw an article on this and thought, you know what? I need to grab a copy of that and see whether it retains the shock value and the power that it had when I first watched it. Threads. And I can imagine that some of you will take one look at that sleeve and go stone cold. I remember watching this in 1984, and it was possibly one of the most horrifying pieces of television I'd ever seen in my life. I don't think I've seen it since. I've seen bits of it because a lot of the TV shows that I watch, sort of like, the 20 most shocking TV moments, that kind of thing. Threads always makes it onto it, along with Ghostwatch and stuff like that. And I believe Spooks is another one that made it onto that list. I will be taking a look at this. I don't think Rob will entertain watching this because the first thing he said when he saw it was, oh my God, that's nasty. That's really horrible. So somehow I think this is going to be me on my own, that one. And this was on the same page. It always happens. I order one thing and I'll see something on the same page and think, oh yeah, wouldn't mind watching that again. When the Wind Blows. Of a similar ilk. This was made, I think this was Raymond Briggs who did The Snowman, but the Snowman and this couldn't be any further apart. Does anybody else remember this one? It is an animated movie, basically concentrating on the effects of a nuclear strike on a couple who live in the middle of nowhere in the English countryside. I remember it being very upbeat for the first half hour, and then it just went downhill, but it was a really, really well made film, animated film, so I really wanted to see that again, so I grabbed a copy of that. Some magazines. I've got the latest issue of Total Film with Beetlejuice on the front. The latest Empire with Joker on the front of it, or Joker 2. Latest issue of SFX, Alien Romulus on the front, Fede Alvarez, I did get it right. And you can all scream at me, air fryer, more air fryer cookbook. I should have read through this. I just grabbed it and just bought it. I should have looked at it first. A lot of these recipes, most of the recipes in here, they've got a list of recipes that, I'm sorry, but if it's got more than about 6 or 7 ingredients, I can't be arsed with it. I can't be arsed with walking around a supermarket for half an hour trying to find 23 different ingredients. And I think this is what most of those are. So this will probably be going to the charity shop before I even look through it, but I'll have a read. And the other thing is, I've already shown you this, but the first 5 entries are going in this week. I've put it on the desk so that I can put the first five movies from my wish list in there and start working my way through it. So I've not forgotten about that. Guys, that is it. That's all I've got for this week. Thank you very, very much for joining me. As per usual, I never ever take for granted what I've got here. You guys are absolutely amazing, and like I've said, this channel and the group would not exist if it wasn't for you lot. So it's very much appreciated, and I never ever take you guys for granted. Thank you so much for joining me. If you've enjoyed the video, I don't even know why I bother saying this, because I don't think anybody apart from you lot actually watches them. But if there is anybody watching them that isn't subscribed, please like, subscribe, share, and all that sort of thing. I'll be back next week with pretty much the same. Have a brilliant week, folks. Enjoy the sun while it lasts. I get the feeling it's on its way out. And I will see you all again about the same time next week. Once again, thanks so much for joining me. You have no idea how much I appreciate it. Take care, and I'll see you next week. Ta-ra.